Y'all, I just figured it out. Groundbreaking. I just figured it out. There's a part in Revelation where it explains like the spiritual side. I mean the spiritual war. Well, in the Bible it talks about spiritual war. This spiritual war get almost catastrophic. And I think in Revelation it talks about how we win it. It talks about prayers and meditation. Well, prayers. So, what do we do when we pray and meditate? Obviously, we refueling ourselves, we re-energizing ourselves. And normally when you pray and you meditate, you're not drinking, you're not doing drugs, you're not doing anything. So you gotta imagine a car. When you hook up too many gas, you put your speakers on, you put your radio system on, you put, this is groundbreaking. This is groundbreaking news. I mean, for me it is. So you put all this stuff on, right? So, groundbreaking. This is groundbreaking. But anyway, for me it is. So, what happened is you hooking up this stuff to the car, and it starts to drain the battery. So, when you look at a tree, and you look at the different limbs in the tree, most of the parts of the tree that we have an issue with at the moment is the engine and the batteries. Okay, so the engine and the batteries, that from what I understand, always end up in the worstest places, which is I would call the warrior angel of the tree. I always end up in the worstest places. They always end up on drugs, or they always, even if it's just out of moderation, they always doing something. The engine and the batteries the engine and the batteries is always doing something. They must be hooking me back up. But they cut me off last night. The engine and the batteries, which is a good thing. I like raspy. But the engine and the batteries, how this go? It's a mud, like, when people see what I'm doing, you're like, oh, you're stretched out, you're a little bit too high. No, that's of the devil. It's moments in time. I've been going through this my whole life with God, and He prepared me for this moment. There's a moment in time where you got to quit everything and heal everything, because I've been attacked on multiple occasions by it seemed like the whole world. And literally, even back in school, I had to quit everything negative I was doing. And somehow I would win, but I didn't know how I would win. I never knew how I was winning. I just knew if I was gonna die, I wanted to die straight up when it come to God. And I was in the street in the gangster stuff and all that. I knew they was finna get ready. They trying to kill me. So I was like, well, there's too many people against me. I'm gonna still go out fighting. The most I can do is heal and be straight up with God. And I figured out when I get older. So I'm preparing to die at this moment. But I wouldn't die, I would win. Even though I knew I was finna lose, I would win. And over time of this, I realized I would reflect on these moments and say, how did I win? How did I win? Come to find out, I was winning from getting off of all the negative stuff, leaving negativity alone and staying in the positive zone. So it ain't like you doing this forever. It's like you doing this till you get clear of all these devils. So you remember what I said, you're a tree. Each limb on this tree represent a engine part. Let's just say that. And you gotta run to your utmost. And in Revelation it says, the more my people pray, the more we win. Every time they stop praying, we'll start losing. See what I'm saying? Your ancestors, so I was just listening to the Astro, and they were like, somebody just crashed. Multiple just crashed. I don't know if they were talking about the bad or the good, but a light bulb went off on me. I was like, wait a minute, that's what it's talking about. Energy. So what happened is, let's say our ancestors unifying together to beat these demonic forces that's against us. And somehow some way, which is not surprising. The devil or Satan knows the only way to beat us is by descending us. I already said it. So it could be drinking or anything. So if you drinking, kids saliva like me, people say, I got a gift. You know what I'm saying? I can touch anything. That's why I said that Tom Cruise movie when he kissed that girl, I got a gift just like that. I was thinking about kissing her. I was thinking about kissing her, didn't want to kiss her. But God was like, kiss her. Because it was like this particular individual was doing so much magic on me, it was pointless on touching everything they give to me. No matter what, I had just kissed her. Now, don't take this to the bank now, y'all. Just add this to anime, social entertainment. So, when I did that, it was like everything she used against me automatically turned on her. From that point on, I never saw her again, never dealt with her again, never came in contact with her again. And she was one of the ones that said, who are him? Who is he? You know what I'm saying? And she was supposedly, let me shut up about that. They're telling me to be quiet about it. But anyway, so think about it, y'all. This make perfect sense. So now we at the situation, see, back in the days, it was just me. It was a small group that I had to deal with, and it was easy to deal with. In this situation, it's a broad group, probably worldwide. So it took the whole, damn near the whole tree to stand up straight just to pass this stuff. So I challenge y'all out there. When you do something negative in your body, focus on the energy. That's what I had to do. Because coming from the slums and growing up in the street, you don't want to focus on being positive all the time, period. Especially if you're still in the street. That's the last thing you want to do. You feel like you want to fuss with God when you got to stop negativity. Because you feel like you already do it out of moderation, and you definitely feel like it's what's keeping you calm and sane. But that's wrong. So let's talk about the enemy. Like I said, Satan or the devil. They know. Why is this stuff forced upon us so much and so hard, y'all? We gotta ask ourselves that. Cause let's just be real. Dubai is a beautiful place. Look up Dubai. They ain't got no drugs and all that over there. And if they do, I think it's the only time they get in alcohol or anything like that is when they go to a party. They don't party like we do over here. It's not a liquor store on every corner over there. Look it up. That place is beautiful. You can't, you telling somebody, you might be telling somebody like me, you stressed out, you depressed. How am I couldn't be stressed or depressed if I'm still creating. Stressed and depressed people will not create. Okay? So Dubai is a good example. That whole place is beautiful. Them people constantly creating and motivating themselves, something motivating them. They keep creating. That's because they ain't got all the contamination that we got over here. Now, I ain't putting nobody down. I ain't putting nobody ahead. I'm just saying, I'm trying to make a point here. Something that we all need to pay attention to. Because somehow we done got the mindset that we need these things to be sane. That's a lie. If you need any kind of substances and stuff like that to be with a lover, if you need any kind of negativity to be with a friend or to be with a lover, them not your friends, and that might not be your lover. Or then again, it might be your lover, and you just need to go into a rehabilitation center and get yourself together. Because if you do love your lover without that, she or he will probably tell you the relationship was a lot better before it came in the picture. So, but this is beautiful. This is groundbreaking. Because when I heard in the Astros they crashed, I really feel like it's for our team. And I feel like somebody went to drinking. Somebody probably slept with somebody they shouldn't have slept with, or been swapping DNA with somebody. Let's just say that. Swapping DNA they shouldn't have been swapping DNA with. That's why I had to be in the depths of solitude. That's why I had to be alone. I seen it with my eyes, my physical eyes. People would take my saliva, DNA, hair, and stuff like that, and they do some overwhelming magic tricks with it. And like I said, what it does is it distorts your ancestors. They'll think they are you, and then you start losing the battle. Now everybody looking at, I bet you looking at this video now, you're going to look at this video now and be like, damn, I put down that crap because you had fun. At this moment, if you even indulge in something, saying that we in this spiritual war, it's probably going to feel good to the extreme. But the 7 times 7 demons that's coming behind it, that backlash ain't worth it. And y'all know that already. Because you catching that as soon as the high is over with, if not the next day. So, you might as well stand up straight. But, and like I said, I overheard over there. And that's what it said. It said, somebody doing this, somebody doing that. Like, this ain't the time to turn against the tree lambs, y'all. This is the time to be with, even if it's people across the world, even if you never met one another, even if you really don't even know each other. This ain't the time, when God, it's like God activated us. God activated all the angels. One thing, I used to tell this joke, I don't tell it no more. When I used to argue with God, I used to say, God, how you can let humans throw pepper in your eyes? You don't see me struggling. You don't see that I ain't got nothing. You keep sending me to hell for something I never did. What's wrong, God? You don't like me, God? I used to say that. I used to talk like that. And God put me in a position where I had to understand what was truly going on. And I surely, I tell you the truth. If it were one way to distort our Father, it's to get some of the most powerful beings on this world, the highest vibrational beings on this world, angels, to join the devil's side. Now, must understand, angels, they having a human experience as well. They got the baby brain as well. So it'd be easy to distort. It could be Michael the Archangel. Why Michael the Archangel and his prominent, and his, you know, once he realized what's really going on, he ain't gonna be on Satan's side. So let's just say you can literally manipulate Michael the Archangel to help Satan. Wouldn't that distort the eyes of God somehow? It won't and it will. God would notice it. God would see it. But you got all these angels that's supposed to be protecting God, that God built to protect God. Somehow, energy done altered and protected Satan. Tell you, I think this is groundbreaking. I tell you, can't let me sit still. My mind be going, bro. That's why I get up. I'm like that dude on Crow Zero. That old man, his daddy, he kept looking for stuff. It was like he never did. He wasn't really even looking for nothing. He'd get up and just look around like he keep moving, bro. He keep moving. That's how I am, bro. I keep moving like something. What is it? But it's just that energy burst we got. But yeah, I think that's what it is. I think for me it's groundbreaking. It's like all of the limbs on the tree must pray, meditate, and stand up straight for the moment. If you can do it for the rest of your life, even great. But while we're going through this spiritual war, and we're living in that part of Revelation, where you gotta pray in order to win. Because we fighting against mountains here. Mountains that been in our way for years, ever since Jesus died. If you want Jesus back, right? Well, we gotta move them mountains aside. That's the way it goes.